Today we're here to talk about Let's Make Western Friends. We're going to be talking about showing who you are and making casual conversation. Then we're going to talk about cross-culture connection. I think some of these might surprise you. All right, let's go. The most critical thing about showing who you are is what you share. You could think of that as the center that you're getting to know someone or making a friend goes around. The center will always be what is the same about you. So for example, if you talk to someone at a business gathering or at like a party and you discovered that you both like cats, that would be a very easy way to start becoming friends. As part of discovering what is the same, the secret to making truly good conversation and making people feel happy and connected is usually not what we talk about ourselves. It's usually about the questions we ask others. Anytime someone asks you a question, the spotlight is shining down on you. And if you ask someone else a question, the spotlight is going over to them. You want to keep the spotlight on the other person. People like to talk about themselves. They like to talk about their interests. That's the next point. Try to figure out what people like to talk about and get them going about it in a way that you might enjoy with questions. People usually hint at their interests. You can see all kinds of little hints in someone's personality or in someone's clothing. For example, people might mention their cat, or they might mention their kids, or you might see someone has like an earring, like I have a little spike in my ear here, and you might think, oh, that's maybe a slightly different lifestyle kind of person, right? And talked about the common safe questions. This is really important, those safe questions, because you can always fall back on those safe questions. How's the weather? Or how's the weather back home? Is there anywhere special you want to go in Taiwan? And my favorite again, do you have any pets? Here are some more pictures of my cat, by the way, in case you would like to see my cat some more. Anyway, here's the number one technique if you're ever like in a conversation and you don't know what to say. Just repeat something they said back to you. You can pick pretty much any subject or any topic and repeat it as a question. So for example, if someone says, I just got off my flight to Taiwan, I'm so happy to be here. You can say, how was your flight? Someone's talking about like, oh, I had to take my cat to the vet earlier. Sorry, I'm late. You might say, oh, your cat? People really love to talk about their pets. There are a few things here that you should know. Most people just don't like these questions. Sometimes you can know that it might be okay to ask. You kind of have to wait for some topics to be introduced before you know that they're safe. But baseline, don't ask people if they're married. Don't ask people how old they are. Don't ask people how many kids they have. And in America especially, anything that is different, like for example, skin color, gender, hair quality, hair type, I would just let it go. I wouldn't ask about it or mention it. And finally, pronouns like he, her, it, they are very critical to communication right now, because for young people, it's become a sort of like a new social rule in American English. All you really need to remember is just call people whatever they want you to call them. If someone looks like a guy but says, please call me she, just call him she. If someone looks like a lady to you but says, please call me he, just call him he, it's fine. Okay, so the real concept that's important between the two cultures that you want to know at baseline is America is low context. It means we talk very directly. It means we are very pressured, especially in Texas where I am from. We are very pressured to speak clearly, to make eye contact. And in school from a very young age, like 3 or 4 years old, every day I was trained to make eye contact. And your teacher will teach you something like say what you mean and mean what you say. On the other hand, in East Asia, people are often a little bit more indirect, right? They might speak in a way that asks the other people to read between the lines. In the US, we often will say this idiom, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. What that means is the person who calls out, the person who makes noise, is the one who gets what they want. And in Japan, we have the idiom, the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. It's the opposite meaning, right? The person who calls out will be crushed. So it's a very big difference. The other thing that's really interesting, this is a little more subtle, but in America, our speech is very work-oriented, work to be done, things to do, accomplish things. And in Chinese, we speak in a way that is more giving priority to relationships and atmosphere. It will seem more gentle to Americans. The reason it's like this, it's what we call a more homogenous society, right? Like if we look around in Taiwan, there aren't that many white people or black people or Mexican people. There's a majority in Taiwan of Asian people, obviously, right? So people in Taiwan have mostly had the same experience in addition to being same or similar ethnicity. Whereas in America, we have low context straight talk because there are so many different cultures. The best example I can think of is let's think about Japan, okay? They're the most high context culture. And in Japan, they all train in school to clean the same way. Pretty much everybody has the same idea about what is clean. How do we do it? What are the methods? Which is kind of cool, right? In America, everyone might have a totally different sort of idea about what is clean and how to clean. So if I am a Japanese person and I'm having another Japanese person clean my house, I might give them like a very simple list of what I might like. Whereas in America, if I am hiring someone to do a job like that, I might give a very specific or explicit set of directions. I want to be like, look, I want you to make the chairs orderly and neat. I want you to wipe the top of the table. I want you to clean the bottom where it's dusty. And we are so normalized to that. We will feel uncomfortable if we don't get specific directions because we might feel like we're making a mistake or we don't quite know what to do.